Hi everyone, it's Jerry. This is a game that will likely leave a lasting impression on most chess players. It's the game between Alexander Mcdonnell, playing as white, and Louis Charles Mahé de La Bourdonnais. This was played in London in 1834. The final product of this game, the final position, is one that is truly remarkable, one that gives us, let's say, a high dose of aesthetic appeal. To the chess instructors of the world, I believe many will find this game here as a great way to illustrate quality over quantity, and then some. And to the casual player, I believe many would be left commenting with their favorite superlative. So let's see how exactly these two minds, over 180 years ago, produced such a fantastic ending that we can still appreciate today. We have Mcdonnell opening with e4, La Bourdonnais replying with the Sicilian. We have an open Sicilian, and now e5, move 4, e5. There are a few names that I'm aware of connected with this e5 move. One is Kalashnikov, and the other two, La Bourdonnais, Lowenthal. So the black player here, La Bourdonnais, playing a variation of the Sicilian, he helped pioneer, challenging the centralized knight, asking it a question: what will you do? White captures the knight. Black takes towards the center, and after just these 5 moves, we can identify an important feature, and that is a central majority, 2-1, tipping in black's favor. We get a few developing moves in, minor pieces coming out. Knight's pinned, unpinned, queen e2. This is developing move, maybe a bit on the early side to declare the queen. Knight c3 would have been fine as well to defend e4. d5. That's one of the things to note. The difference between these two is that after queen e2, black is able to get that pawn majority in the center rolling some. d5 it is. Bishop takes knight. Bishop takes bishop. One question I had at this point is there a way for white to win a pawn like this? The answer is no. Queen takes pawn, you drop the bishop, and if bishop takes bishop, there's the recapture with the knight defending e5. So on this d5 move, it is bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, and just 9 moves in, there are now 2 important features. One is still present in that of the 2-1 majority in the center, and the other is black having now the bishop pair. White drops back. Both players castle, and now a5 looks to trap the bishop, who's short on squares. White captures on d5, and after the recapture we now have an instance of 2-0 in the center. Rook d1, piling up on d5, and black pushes. And now this move 14, a very committal one. Mcdonnell opting for c4, seeing this as an opportunity to get a passed pawn. We now have a case where both sides have a passed pawn. Which passed pawn will prove more decisive? Queen b6, so more development. Bishop c2. This pawn is immune from capture, as bishop h7 hits with check. So the queen on e2 we can say is indirectly defending b2. More development. Longest diagonal on the board, pointing at the heart. Knight d2, and now rook a to e8. This is not an opportunity for black to just win a pawn, even though that the queen is no longer there. After a bishop takes h7 to win the queen. If queen takes b at this moment instead of the game move, rook a to e8, white can play first queen d3. lining up a mate threat. And now there is this idea of rook a1, winning the bishop. After like g6 and rook a to b1, black has to now pitch a pawn, give the pawn back with e4, as any queen move would allow rook takes bishop. And after e4, we can take, and after bishop takes knight, rook takes, we would have a opposite color bishop, roughly equal endgame. We don't have this capture, but rather rook a to e8, knight e4, black preserves the bishop, and prepares f5, kicking the knight away. White gets pushing his passed pawn, c5, queen c6. The threat here is to kick the knight and then give mate on g2. So f3, a nice pawn structure to blunt this bishop's diagonal. Bishop e7 is there to keep a watchful eye over a knight hop. Rook a to c1, getting another piece involved, getting behind this passed pawn. And now here comes f5. This is challenging the central knight, of course, and at the same time it is leaving black vulnerable along this diagonal. There are now a couple checking opportunities for white, and white goes with one of them, queen c4, and black goes to the corner. Bishop a4 is the follow-up with a skewer. Did black not see this? There is an opportunity to block with the queen. However, after bishop b3, king in the corner, there's now knight d6. The queen is no longer around to watch over that d6 square. So black sees this as an opportunity to, yes, invest some material to allow this exchange, to allow this skewer, and instead focus on one of the imbalances in the position, that is this central pawn majority. The queen swings over to h6, it's out of the bishop's way, and keeps a close eye on this checking square e3. After bishop takes rook, we have pawn takes knight. Not recapturing here, but instead improving the quality of the pawns. They are creeping a little bit closer towards this promotion rank. c6, white is pushing with his majority, well, not majority, he's pushing his passed pawn, attacking the bishop, but this is something that can be ignored. Black captures on f3, and white now lends some defense to his second rank. Capturing the bishop allows a mate in 6, starting with queen e3, king h1, pawn takes, king takes, and here comes the queen and rook. King g1, we have a discovered check, and then a mate on g2. Therefore, you cannot capture the bishop. Rook c2 was played, queen e3 check, and now, very important moment, rook f2 must be played here, but in the game it was king h1, and this allows black to have the initiative, to have a winning position. Better is rook f2, preparing to meet captures on g2 with queen e2, defending. King h1 was played, bishop c8, getting out of the pawn's way, bishop d7, black pushes. We now have a case of 3 passed pawns. Rook f1, black continues to push, rook c3, bishop takes bishop, pawn takes, e4, they're inching ever closer, these 3 passed pawns, queen c8, bishop d8, this is a good way to defend black's back rank. Neither side is with that flight square just yet for their kings. Queen c4, queen e1, rook takes queen, allows the recapture and promotion to a queen with mate. White needs to defend their back rank clearly. Queen is attacked twice now. Black ignores this and continues pushing. Doesn't matter which way you capture the queen. Black is getting a new one and defending with a pawn. Rook takes rook. You're getting a queen. You're getting a queen again. She's going nowhere. Very well supported queen, clearly. Queen c5, threatening a mate in 1. Rook g8. At this point, these two pieces really aren't needed. The queen and these 3 pawns alone are enough. Rook d1, e3, queen c3, and now queen takes rook. Rook takes queen, and the final move of the game, e2. This is the position that is truly remarkable. To have a case of 3 passed pawns, a single step away from queening, it is at this point that white resigns. It is at this point that white realized the queen and the rook are not enough to fend off against 3 passed pawns of this great depth. These 3 pawns that have such a great quality to them, of course. What to do here? It's already reading as a mate in 5. The suggestion is to create a flight square. There's just too many different ways. Black can go ahead and promote from here. e1, capture the rook, f1. You can't defend all these threats. Queen takes pawn, it's f1. And then recapture, promote, and give mate. h4, takes, king h2. We're getting another queen, and he's going to be dead very soon. So clearly a fantastic finish to this one. What exactly helped lead to that final position? We have a look just to see this one real quick from the winning side here as black. One of the first things is that white helped build black's center. We had that 2-to-1 majority in the center very early on. We also have this bishop pair. If you're going to invest the bishop pair, one of the things you ought to look at is, the white side. They invested the bishop pair. One of the things to look at is my knight. Is there a good outpost for him? In the game, where was that outpost? It wasn't there. You should be looking for a hole within black's position for this knight to get to, a square that he can rely upon. There wasn't really that in the position. The knight struggled to do anything in this one, and this was a very committal decision. This pawn was not nearly as effective as this strong pawn on d4. Note that black has the support of this pawn with another one of his pawns, whereas the b pawn never quite got rolling for white. And as mentioned, this knight, this isn't a reliable home. White tries to get that square, but it's covered with the bishop, and eventually he gets kicked away. This is where white goes in for the tactical opportunity with the skewer, but we're seeing a case here where the quality of the pawns here, it's worthwhile to invest some material in order to advance your trump, in this case, this central pawn majority. Black does just that, and what a fantastic finish we had with these 3 connected passed pawns, just a single square away from queening, and they were no match for the queen and rook. So clearly an excellent game. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below, and as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.